My name is Gaiger. I'm from the UK and I have lived in Norway for about 2.5 years. Before coming to Norway, I lived in Glasgow and I studied my bachelor's in painting and printmaking at the Glasgow School of Art. I came to Norway to do my MFA at Kunstnartun in Bergen, where for the last 2 years I've focused on figurative painting on a large scale. The paintings in this exhibition, which is called Puncta, are quite a departure from my most recent work. In 2020 I was working on very large scale works, including a painted banner which was 50 metres long. I will go back to working on a large scale later in 2021, but over this winter I've been working on these tiny paintings for Puncta. I've used images of my family and imagery from my own past in these paintings. They're these kind of almost unbearably heavy images, which I think most people are familiar with, which are so loaded with sincerity and family and love and regret and sadness and longing and loss. I think this was a good time to show these works because I feel that the pandemic has suddenly created this space for people to talk about loneliness and grief and feelings which can be extremely taboo. The 10 paintings in this exhibition are each painted using a single photograph. I've thought a lot about the function and meaning of these photographs while working, and the inspiration for the series was actually Roland Barthes's 1980 book Camera Lucida. Part of the process of making these paintings is kind of a solidifying of things that are gone and in the past, and I hope that that's reflected a little bit in the way that I go about the paintings. The images are very frozen and still, and that's very deliberate. I choose a palette that makes the paintings almost jewel-like, very hard surfaced. Most of the paintings are built up with a glazing technique, which is a very old way of making an oil painting. It's extremely slow. People often think that when you glaze you kind of flood the image with translucent colour, but the proper way to do it is really by sort of scumbling with the brush on a minute scale to build up these veils of colour. Glazing is a very good way to paint flesh because you can lock in all these different colours which are underneath the surface of the skin. I've also taken shortcuts though and worked wet in wet to make these kind of luscious velvety fabric textures. There's also this additional layer of artifice, which is these elements that overlay each of the paintings. For me it was important to add something to the images which is completely of my own making, which puts some distance between the viewer and the image and ensures the works land firmly in the realm of painting and not merely as copies. Something suggestive of a sort of deterioration or breaking down of the image, a kind of clouding, like a corrupted memory. They're supposed to let you know that you shouldn't trust the image necessarily, that there's ambiguity in it.